the exciting new world of public transportation in Southern California. With the advent of Metrolink and Metrorail, combined with Amtrak San Diegan's southern beginnings of a...
Well, Alex, I was looking at the Sunday paper this morning. I see that the Fillmore Rail Festival is occurring this weekend.
Yeah, and it's really a nice family event. We're going to take the steam train, the speeder car, and they have a new turntable out there, and they have barbecue, and it's really a fun event.
Yeah, that's what I hear, and so we're going to go off and take a look and see what they have to see, and hope you folks enjoy the festivities today.
Okay, see you there. Today we're at the annual Fillmore Railroad Festival, and I have Jim here with me from the Santa Clara River Valley Railroad Society.
Santa Clara River Valley Railroad Historical Society.
Okay.
Out here in Fillmore, California.
And how long has the organization been in existence?
Well, it's been in existence for quite a while, and the idea is to preserve the old railroading stuff for an interpretive center that we're going to be building here right where we're standing to let the younger generations and the future generations know what railroading was like back in the turn of the century.
Well, that's terrific. How do you become a member of the society?
Well, basically, just come down to Fillmore and ride the train, and somebody on the train, which probably will be from the society, will give you a form that tells you how to join.
Well, that's terrific. And you're going to be showing us a few of your new acquisitions here and what you're going to be doing in this area to further your exhibit or expand your exhibit, right?
Well, that's correct, because the land we're standing on, where the Railroad Interpretive Center will be built, will have a 90-foot turntable that we got from up in Canada, and it will be installed so that we can cycle the engines around. Because right now the track that goes between Fillmore here and Santa Paula, there's no way to turn the train around. And the only way to do that at the moment is to go out to Montalvo and the main line. So what we want to do is have the turntable here so that we can turn the trains in either direction so that they can be photographed beautifully. Because Fillmore and Western Railroad is the movie train railroad, and a lot of the trains have been in many motion pictures and commercials.
Yeah, that's terrific. Now, this caboose we see over here, will that be part of the exhibit?
Yes, it will. That's our clubhouse, believe it or not, and it's being restored. It came from the Southern Pacific Railroad, and it's car number 1119. We should have had it painted by now, but it's done by volunteer work, so it takes a little time.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that all the work down here at the center is donated all the time. Is donated by the members, and it's really labor of love. Correct?
That's correct. You have to have a soft spot in your heart for choo-choo trains.
Well, that's great.
Well, this is the Fillmore Rail Festival, and we have a old engine display here, and this is Mike. Here's the president of the club.
Yes, my name is Mike Miller. I'm the president of the Topa Topa Flywheelers, and we're a Ventura County club.
And tell me, what are these old engines used for in the past?
Well, they were a general purpose for running water pumps, oil derricks, whatever needed to be run.
So they use this in the water pumps and for the farming and the pump water for the fields and things like that. Oil derricks for the oil fields that used to be in the area. And you're
Dave Souza.
Dave Souza. What is your let's say association with this particular organization?
Well, I own the engine here, and I do have tractors also.
Tell us about this particular engine.
It's an 18-horse Fairbanks Morris. It's made in 1959 in Kansas City. It's not really that old, but the basic design was from the teens, and it just evolved to this. This was kind of the height of it right here. They came out of the oil fields here in the county somewhere. And the engines, like I said, were basically used before the electricity got out of the towns, out into the surrounding ag community, and this you had to use an engine and drag it from place to place on a skid, and that's how that was the motive source of power.
So this provided power for the farm and some of the farms here in the the Santa Clara River Valley?
Yes, Santa Clara River Valley.
Very interesting. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for the info.
Thank you.
And we're going to be on to see some more of the sites here at the Rail Festival.
My name is Patrick.
And you're here making a t-shirt for the...
Yep, the official t-shirt of the Rail Festival.
And tell me what the process are. You have 4 different screens here?
4 different screens. This is a silk screening process. Every color has its own screen. So this is a 4-color design. So we have 4 screens.
And you're making us a t-shirt right here in front of our eyes.
Right here on the spot.
Well, this is going to be, let's see how this thing's going to come out when we're all done. Wow, take a look at that. We show the folks the t-shirt that's all finished?
Sure, no problem.
Well, here we are having a lot of fun at the Rail Festival, and you're the engineer for the diesel train, correct?
Yeah, we're running the train from Fillmore down to Santa Paula and back. It's about a 2.5-hour ride. And we've got our dining car on here, and we're also serving hot lunch on board.
Well, that's really quite a fare. Hot lunch and a dining car and a 2.5-hour ride.
That's correct, just like the old days, you know, when the dinner in the diner, a lot of fun.
Well, I'm out here to film. Is this run just for the Rail Festival or other times of the year?
No, we run year-round out here. Every weekend we have excursion trains. Saturday we run one afternoon train, leaves here at 2 o'clock, and then in the evening we have our dinner train with the murder mystery. So you get a train ride, a show, and dinner on board.
Wow.
And on Sundays we run at 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Same thing down to Santa Paula and back.
That's quite an operation. It's out here in the old Southern Pacific line. This used to be the main line, right?
That's right. This was the first line between Los Angeles and San Francisco. It was put in 1887.
Wow, that's quite a while ago.
Yeah, I'll say.
Now, I understand that they stopped using this around 1914 as the main line.
Basically, yeah. As soon as they drilled the Santa Susana tunnels through the Santa Susana Pass, that became the primary line, this being the secondary line. And it was used just for the farmers out here to ship their citrus to market.
Well, that's quite a bit of history. And now you're bringing it all back to life with the, what is this, the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society?
That's right. Well, it's actually the Santa Clara River Valley.
Santa Clara.
Yeah, since the Santa Clara River runs down through this whole valley, that's how they came up with a name for it.
Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for the information. Are you going to be taking the folks here on a ride on the diesel train shortly?
Yeah, let me see here. We're about ready to leave in 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be something to watch you pull out of the station here.
Oh, yeah. We sure are happy to have the big crowd out here, and really thank the weatherman for bringing the sunshine both yesterday and today. And it rained before the event and after the event yesterday, and it was raining again this morning, and now we got the sunshine again. So,
well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Glad to have you out here with us.
We're glad.
Somewhere along the edge, around baby in the time, looks like a man's oh Lord, stuck in the dollar. Come on, Randy, sing your part.
What's the name of this locomotive?
It's called the number 51,
Number 51. And when was it built?
1906.
1906. And where did it first see service?
in its early days.
Yes.
It was purchased by a company by the name of Great Western. It's based out of Colorado. It was originally a freight engine. Did a lot of sugar beet hauling in Colorado.
Uh-huh. So the sugar beet hauling in Colorado, and it was that was in the early part of the this century, right?
Correct. They discontinued use of this engine in about 1958 or 59.
Well, that's quite a bit of service. It was that late into the late 50s.
That's correct. The Birminghams, which is one of them sitting in the engineer's seat, picked this up in about 1960. They had it from that point on, and the first movie this engine did was Cat Ballou, which is back around the middle 60s.
Yeah, I remember that movie with Lee Marvin and the drunken horse.
Yep. Jane Fonda.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I'll have to when next time I watch it, I have to see if watch this engine in action.
Pardon?
Next time I watch that movie, I have to rent the tape and see this engine in action.
It'll make a difference to you. You'll look for it.
So how often do they operate this engine nowadays?
How can they?
No, how often?
We're running about 3 to 4 times a year right now.
So this is the Fillmore Rail Festival is one of the events, and when else?
Typically we do the 4th of July. Last year we did a Christmas run the Saturday following Thanksgiving. Sometimes we do something in late October instead. It just depends on what Fillmore Western management wants.
Sounds like, quite an interesting thing. So most of the time, Fillmore and Western, they run just the diesel trains on weekends.
They do. These are some of the control mechanisms that are used. This happens to be the engineer's side. Some of the controls that are used in the 51 here to make it go and make it stop. This is a train brake, which he just applied. He's taken an application. You'll feel it pulling shortly. He's got it set. He moves it to the left, or our left a little bit, and that'll be a release. The gold handle up on top is the engine brake. The big bar across the top here is the throttle. These are the gauge glasses. One here on the fireman's side. This is how you know that you got enough water in the boiler, so we don't get any nasty things happening. You might be able to just see the level on this glass right here, or this one here. These are called tricocks. In the event you don't think you can trust your gauge glass, you use these. You open one, if they dribble water, you got more water than that. You go to the next, you try to keep steam coming out of the top one. If you get water out of the top one, you got too much water in the boiler. Once in a while, you have to blow a glass down just to see that it's working. What you do, and that noise is a part of it. If it pops back to about the same position it was in, means your water level is probably correct. Fire's down here. Now we're over to the fireman.
I follow the engineer. When he opens the throttle, it means more steam demand, so I have to open up the firing lever for more heat. And kind of follow him. If he shuts the throttle, I have to come down or we'll smoke too much black.
Camera, show this. This is a damper lever. This is oil lever. This controls how much fuel is going to the burner. Another gauge glass. This is the oil tray right here. We have 3 types of oil. This is a 600 weight. If you're familiar with car weights of around 530s and 30 weights, that sounds pretty heavy, and it is. It's called a steam oil. That's a hydrostatic lubricator up there. We fill that full, we use steam to drive it to the cylinders. So the cylinder, pistons, and rings and walls get lubrication. That's how they get it. There's also a second line that goes down to the air pump. The air pump that brakes on this train works by air. That air comes from a double compound pump just off to the side here. You're not going to be able to see it. and it's steam driven. Everything on this engine, it has a dynamo, that's steam driven. It produces 32 volts, approximately 500 watts of power. It drives all the light bulbs, both the headlight and the rear, and all the engine cab lights, which there are probably about 8 of. Second oil, this is compressor oil. It's a little heavier, it's lighter than this. It's about a 150 weight. It's used in the compressor itself. Again, this is the air compressor. The rest of this, including that big can, is devoted to something called journal oil. All the bearings on this engine are a white system. All they are is brass with a journal that runs up around in them. They pick up oil, and by squeeze, they lift the bearing off of the journal surface, and it rides on a small hose of oil. That's what all these are for. We have, I can't tell you the exact number of those types of bearings we have on this engine, but it's a lot. Probably in the neighborhood of 30 or 40.
Okay, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
your name is again?
Ed Callback.